here, and today I got in my EVGA P2 1000 watt power supply unit. Now I'm coming from the Corsair AX860, which is 850 watts, to this unit. I just have enough stuff in here now where I tried to plug in an SSD and it wouldn't boot anymore. Once I unplugged it, it was working, so basically I just have too much power draw right now for this power supply unit, so I just kind of went a little bit above and beyond with 1000 watt here. Now if you're looking for an insanely in-depth review of this, I'm probably not going to be the person to give that to you, just because my knowledge only runs so far, but also I'm not highly technical when we're dealing with a lot of these different things with this, other than the fact that it's going to be like, alright, this is platinum rated, things like that. And for this one too, it is fully modular, meaning that you can actually plug in each individual cord versus where it's not, and it's just going to run out of the back with this. So let's go ahead and unbox this here. Good packaging, definitely solid with everything that they have in here in terms of making sure that this is secure and it's not going to get damaged. So we have our plug-in cord and then all of our cords here. Now what I'm interested in, we have some zip ties. That's awesome, that's a nice touch. An adapter here. Screws to mount it. Alright, so we have all of our cords. Comes with the bag here. And then let's go ahead and see if we can get this bad boy out. Maybe. Now one of the things with this, just reading other people's reviews, it is quite a long power supply unit, so we'll compare the two here in a second. But I have the Fantex Evolve case, so it should fit okay in that. If I had a smaller build, or obviously if I had a mini ATX, I'm not going to do that. But boom, slide that out. It definitely feels solid with the build. So we have that right here, and then we look on the back, fully modular. So any of these that I don't need to do in here, I don't have to plug them in. So with that, it's basically making it so that you're not going to have a bunch of excess cords. Otherwise, if it's not fully modular, and you have partial modular builds as well with the power supply units, but if it's not, all the cords are attached and they run out. So if you're not using any, you just got to kind of cram them in the back of that there. But that's this here. Now this is the 860, and yeah, that is actually quite a big difference here. Let's stack this like that. Yeah, that's quite a big size difference here. We're looking at probably inch and a half difference here with the length. In terms of the width, it's the exact same, which I figured if you're going to have the mounts on the back of this. They do have an eco version with this, but I've heard just a lot of people in their own reviews saying it's not really worth turning it on, so this will definitely stay off. So this is a hefty power supply unit with that, and it comes with a ton of cords here. So the main difference that I saw with, because I got this off Amazon, with what they showcased on Amazon versus me buying this right now, is it did show a lot of the different cables, especially the VGA cables, were red. And I don't know what that difference was. And this was for this model too, because there's another variation too where I think it's semi-modular. But with that, it showed that there was red cables, and this did not come with that. So not quite sure why it showed that. I was kind of hopeful because my build itself is a mixture of black, red, and white. So I was kind of hoping that that would be the case. I thought it would look really, really good. But regardless, they do have the very good sleeves on the outside of this. All the cables inside are black too, so you're not seeing a bunch of different things, which is pretty standard now. It feels quality with this, which is nice. And it has the rubber here to make sure that it stays. So now I'm going to kind of speed up me building all this, and then we'll look at booting this up and testing it out and just showing that it actually works. Like I said, a little bit overkill with the 1000 watt here just because I'm not running SLI or anything, but I have 9 LED fans in this thing. I have another 3 fans including this, so we have 2 on the graphics card. So my GPU is a 1080 Ti, so we have 2 there, then we have the one here, so you're looking at 12 fans with this thing. 4 SSDs, 1 mechanical drive, 2 LED strips, and then I run an insane amount of USB stuff off of this. So I'm running the extension to my monitor, and then I have an Oculus Rift, so we're dealing with 3 sensors, and then the headset itself on top of that. So there's a lot going on with this, and the 860 was phenomenal. It just, once I added that 4th SSD, it really didn't like it. And I think after talking with my electrical engineer client, it really had more to do with how far it was on the strand when it came to the cable here. It was just fluctuating with the power draw. Now that's without me like going through and testing it, but what I do know is that it booted up the second I unplugged it. Now, without me going and getting this tested, I was like, okay, it's partially failing. I ran a bunch of games, I did a bunch of stuff on it for 3 days. I went ahead and ordered this because I wanted to check for sure, but it still ran really, really good, and I do still love this Corsair power supply unit, and I definitely recommend it. And I've had this for 5 years. This does come with a 10-year warranty, which is awesome, through EVGA. But let's go ahead and get this thing all situated. So that was a sped up version of me assembling this thing. A couple things that I ran into. I'm a novice at all of this. I don't consider myself an expert at all. I'm definitely a student of trying to learn more about all this. I've had a custom PC for about 5 years now. And with this, you learn certain things over the years of building out these PCs over and over again. And I'm constantly upgrading my PC. It's just, I'm not into cars, I'm not into guns, I'm not into anything else. This is really my hobby. And with that, plugging in everything ahead of putting this into your case here is important. One of the things I didn't do was looking at how many SATA cables I was going to need, or power cables for my SSDs here, just because I ended up running into a situation where I had to plug an extra one in, and that's always a pain once it's in the case and you have all those other cables coming out of it. It worked out okay, but that was a learning curve with this particular build out. Things like plugging in the CPU power pins over here, looking at that was way difficult. I spent a ton of time just doing that. The problem is I have to bend those in order to get them in, where it would have been easier to plug them in, bend it around, then plug it in. Should have done that ahead of time. And that would have been outside of the case still. Things I don't like so far about this. So this is a 1080 Ti. This needs 12 pin connectors here. With that, the way they run this is they don't have the 6. It's basically a 6 and then a 4. So you get 10. Well, then I have to run 2 of these things in order to power this card, and I just don't like with the extra ones hanging down. It's not horrible, but I like clean lines with this. On the back, it is a little bit more clean in terms of cable management than my previous build, but I'm still horrible at all that stuff. I like the front side to look as clean as I can get it, but that's simple. The back just becomes complex with everything that I'm running out of this, all the various fans and everything else. And I ended up swapping out my Western Digital for my Samsung SSD in the front here just because the black, because the Western Digital one is blue. Didn't like the look of that, so I swapped that out. Booted up fine, everything was okay. Every now and then I've done this before where it's like, oh, I forgot to do this, and then you have to run through all this. So didn't have any problems. Went very, very smooth. So everything's powered up, and so far I'm really enjoying it. The extra length made it a little bit harder. I had to shove all those cords in the back there. The build quality, going back to that though, is superb. I'm a personal trainer for my regular job, and the build quality of this feels like the very heavy duty equipment we get at the gym, like the heavy duty squat racks and things like that. So the metal itself, the steel or whatever they use to actually build this feels very, very good, feels very, very quality. Now, this is the 1000 watt. Going over the features here, fully modular. I definitely like the fully modular versus anything else, just because with that, I don't need everything plugged into that. That'd be so many cords trying to basically shove in there, and I don't want it in there until I need it. So it provides up to 83.3 amps or close to. It's 999.6 watts, right on, so 1000 watts. Plus 12 volt rail, 100% Japanese capacitors. I don't know what that means, but provides up to 1000 watts at 50 degrees Celsius. Obviously, temperature being a big thing, you don't want this thing to get too hot in there. It's 80 plus platinum certified, super high efficiency, which is awesome because you have those standards with that, right? You can buy bronze, you can buy gold, or you can buy platinum when it comes to the rating with these power supply units. Ultra quiet, I can attest to that. I hear my fans, I don't hear the fan on that thing. The Eco Intelligent Thermal Control feature, I'm not going to mess with that when it comes to turning that on or off. I'm just going to leave it at the normal one here. SLI/crossfire ready, of course it is, with the amount of power that it has. Active power factor correction with PF value of 0.99, don't know what that means. Type voltage regulation, DC to DC converter design, outstanding 10-year warranty, which I really, really like. And I have to keep that in mind if this thing ever does go on the fritz, that I can contact them, keeping all of this here. And then all the cables you're getting one 24 pin, 2 8 4+4 pin, you're getting 4 8 6+2 pin, 2 6 pin plus 8 6+2 pin, 2 times 2 SATA cables, and then you're getting 2 times 3 SATA cables. And I'd plugged in the 2 3 SATA cable ones, and then I needed the extra one that I forgot about, just because I had with a handful of the fans and the other things and the control boards for those, I needed that. 1 3 Molex cable, and then 1 times 2 Molex plus 1 floppy cable. And this is a 140 millimeter fan with this. So this is a quality product. Big things to keep in mind if you aren't going to be running a ton of stuff or upgrading your PC and adding a bunch of things. This is going to be too much power potentially. With my 860, I loved it, but it was 850 watts, which is a good amount for any PC. Just ran into the problem where it didn't want to boot up the SSD with everything else, with all the lights and everything else. And I'm planning on doing more upgrades, looking at potentially doing a water cooler, the NZXT one, and a couple other components that I want to add to this. So it's something that I was trying to keep in mind when going for this 1000 watt one. And EVGA, this is the one that we have in my son's PC. We have this 650 watt power supply unit in his PC. That one is not fully modular. That one is just everything is there, right? And it's attached. But and that's perfect for his build. But I do like this so far, and it's a power supply unit, so it's not in my mind as cool as we're looking at the motherboard and all the features that it comes with. We're looking at your GPU and all the different things that it has. It has ray tracing and all this other stuff. It's not quite as cool, but quality build. I like the 1000 watt. I like all the attachments. I like the mesh that they put around this. It just feels quality. I like the rubber band that they put around that, so it's not gonna thread on you or anything like that. And it's just a quality product in my opinion. So if you're on the fence with this product, I definitely say go for it. Like I said, keep it in mind that you will be upgrading, because 1000 watts isn't going to be something that everybody needs, and an 850 would be plenty with this. Now this I got for $180 off of Amazon. I'm going to put a link for that in the description box. You might check other things like eBay or something like that. You might catch it on a sale, because typically I believe this is $230 and I got it on sale, or it might be $200 and I got it on sale for $180 off of Amazon. And price is going down on a lot of this stuff anyways. So other thing to keep in mind is just the length on it and whether or not your case can hold that. Obviously if you have a mini ATX build, you're not going to be using this thing. this is going to be way too big for that. And your whole purpose with doing a mini ATX anyways is to condense everything. So that is it, guys. If you liked the video, hit the like button for me. If you want to continue to follow along with all of my content, hit the subscribe button for me. Thanks so much for watching.